Folks, hello and welcome to Talking Crit. It's the was it the pandemic special? No, it's the
Post, yeah, that's kind of pandemic-y.
it's not post pandemic because as Mike and I have said, I didn't know this last Wednesday, but last Wednesday, as Mike was talking about his COVID, I was COVIDing.
Uh-oh, it was percolating. You were like, huh, it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's like
weird.
yeah. That night, I woke up in the middle. I woke up in the middle of the night after having a dream about my sinuses exploding,
Mm-hmm.
and I woke
Uh-oh,
up with my head, like, and I was like, I can't even. I couldn't even like, literally breathe. And I was like, wow, my
something's
sinuses
up.
really
Yep.
cleared up, really filled up fast. So, Mike has COVID. I have COVID. Actually, rates just tested because this would be day 8 from the testing, right? We tested last Thursday, and or 7 days later, however that were. We were 7. So we tested, rates tested, and the viral load is lessened, but it's still COVID. So
Well, so in Texas, hope everybody, by the way, is okay with us going over our. I mean, COVID's a story, so we're going to talk about COVID a
right,
little bit. So, wife and I are, we're recovering. It lasts about a week. Omicron is the version to get if you're going to get one. I was told that by a doctor. So that's the version to get if you're going to get one. It's quite mild compared to the other ones. There's still some issues. One of the problems we have in Texas is
no
we have
testing.
no test kits anywhere. Test kits are it's 2 weeks. So if I went in tomorrow and said, I really want to be tested for COVID, it's okay. We'll set you up January 21st. Okay, I guess I'll try then, but I'll probably be okay with it.
Yes.
And the test kits are out. I check every day. They said they might get some more in Thursday, which is tomorrow. I'm going to go check. But apparently, the last time they got some in, they sold out immediately. Of course, they did,
Of
because I'm
course.
sure everybody bought 25 copies or whatever.
I ordered 2 boxes, 4 kits early on in December when I saw Omicron was sneaking up. I was like, let me just get some. And then like every week I'd go, oh, 2 more, 2 more. So the first 2 more showed up yesterday. And that's where we're like, all right,
Well, yeah, that's lucky you. Yeah, so you can't, and they opened a bunch of new drive-through places in Texas, but the wait is anywhere from 5 to 7 hours, which is ludicrous. I'm not going to wait
yeah,
in the car 5 hours to know what I have because we've already been diagnosed with it. So
yes,
I'm going to wait till there's no symptoms at all and assume that I don't have it then. So until then, and right as you can tell, I'm a little stopped up. I still got a cough. So I'm going to assume I may or may not still have it. So, until I'm officially now, I did start getting my sense of taste and smell back.
oh, that's good. I
If
never
I
lost
stick
that.
something right up to my nose, I can smell it, and I can taste weird. Like every once in a while, I'll taste a taste. It'll come through like, oh, that tastes good. That's what food used to taste like. It's awesome. Um, so I know I'm getting better just because of that. And the tiredness is one of the last days I think I really had it. I slept 10 hours, which I never sleep that much ever.
Right.
Now, I never had the brain fog that you talk about. I mean,
Oh, the
I've heard of
brain
people
fog is
getting
annoying
that.
as shit.
It's pretty bad, yeah. But I did have, where I'm going along, I'm at work. I took a bunch of meds. I'm doing okay. And then I just had this, like the meds wore off. It's like, whoa, power down. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. I got to go home. And then I go home and have some soup. And I'm like, I'm going to bed. It's
Yeah.
it's it's 7 o'clock, but 8 o'clock I'm going to bed because I just something happened. My whole body just went wow. But I know some people. I did have the shot, did have the vaccines, did not have a booster. I do think that might be why the effect was so mild on me. I don't know. I was told by a doctor that now that I have had it, I probably don't need the boosters because the
Right.
boosters are mostly there to protect you from Omicron, which I apparently have, and my natural immunity's taking care of it. So, all in all, I mean, it wasn't the best experience, and I wouldn't really wish it on anybody. But I've had worse flu bouts. I've had flu bouts because I never had a temperature. I never had a temperature. I've
Neither
had
have we. Yep.
they're spiking at 102, 103, pouring sweat, just hoping I die.
No,
Just
no, we've had
horrible.
some night sweats early on. And by the way, John Miller, this week in gaming COVID. Listen,
Thank you,
folks,
sir. I wish I could give
when,
you an award. Ding. Okay,
when,
John just got an
here's your
award
no
there.
prize. Listen, when both of your hosts are playing their roles in that pandemic, it's got to be mentioned. And I'm actually one of the reasons why I think it's got to be mentioned, because I think one of the things we're going to talk about shortly after this right now is going to be conventions, because there's some conventions that have popped up.
Good point.
And we're gonna if you go onto the Facebook, that den of evil and inequity, or whatever they call it, right?
Not as bad as Twitter. Not as bad as Twitter.
Not as bad as Twitter, but it's still
a lower level of hell.
Yeah. It's closer to the surface. You don't have to go as deep. But I think we'll just drop into that right now. There is a huge, angry discussion going on in many forums or many areas about conventions, and people are going, "Oh, well, you're going to require a mask at your convention? Well, fuck you. And you're not going to require a mask at your convention?"
Oh, good. I have some stories. I can contribute to that. Yeah. Because I run a convention, and I posted yesterday, as you well know, about, and that was mostly because and for those that know, I don't know the total con situation. You may have paid more attention to that than me, but Gary Con is mask up, and we need to see your Vax card. I don't know total con. That's the next big con that I can think of coming up. I don't know what their policies are. Maybe you might be looking them up as I'm talking. I don't know. But who has a loud echo? Might be me, because I'm not using my mic. I'm using my.
No, you had two streams open. Ignore it. It was David was having. Listen, I have the brain fog, you motherfucker.
Oh.
Okay,
I've done that before, David. I've done the same thing. Don't worry. I've had the stream open and this one, so I can look at comments. And yeah, I've had it happen. Anyway, so they both, and so Ernie posted this week. We're just gonna, I guess, segue into this. Ernie posted about how he is running games at TSR Con this year, who have said there's no mask mandate there, and you don't have to show a Vax card. And of course, the usual suspects come out on both sides. Well, look, more like like kind of like this, like a.
Oh, cool visuals.
If you're not wearing a mask, you're killing people. If you're wearing a mask, you're killing people. So that usual stuff. So anyway, they came out and fought. So it was entertaining to read Ernie's thread. And Ernie did drop a little interesting piece of info there. He said the reason he's not coming to GaryCon is because he doesn't believe in mask mandates, and Luke is requiring everybody to mask up, which I thought was interesting, because we had both looked at his schedule and said, well, there's no way he's coming. He's running 8-hour sessions at TSR Con.
Right. He hints he still might show up to socialize before and after the con, but it looks like he's really saying maybe he'll be at the bar, where obviously you won't have to mask, or in the halls. See, now here's the thing. And this is where I'm gonna say it's an interesting thing, because if you read into what Ernie said, because he was talking about socializing in hallways, he is kind of hinting that, all right, the convention holds sway over the rooms, right? The vendors hall where the gaming is going. But if you're in the hallway outside the vendors hall, that is hotel property. And if the hotel is not requiring masks, then he wouldn't need to be masked there. Right. So it's a little
it's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. It's kind of like rules lawyering, I guess you could say.
Yes, very much so. Well, so I wanted to grab the bull by the horns. So yesterday on the North Texas page, I said that as of right now, unless required by law, we're not requiring masks. You can wear a mask if you want. As a matter of fact, if you're a DM and want to wear a mask, and you want everybody in your game to wear a mask, you're allowed to do that. You have to announce when you list the game, though, so everybody will know.
On the sun,
if they don't like masks, then they know not to get in your game.
Which, by the way, all right, I'm gonna be nicer than I was gonna initially say, but some shitsters like, whoa, oh, that means I can just show up at a game and then somebody's gonna tell me I gotta put a mask on. Fuck that shit. No.
It doesn't mean that. No.
It means
calm down. Take it down.
John Smith says, hey, I don't feel comfortable with a bunch of strangers around me in the midst of the pandemic not wearing masks. I want you all to wear masks. Guess what? You'll see that on the sign up
I'll
page,
give you an
and
example.
you won't have to
Dennis
sign up.
Dennis Astaire, at our convention Astaire. For those who know Dennis, one of the elder fathers of our hobby. He's in his 70s. He was at home for pretty much 2 years, didn't go anywhere with his wife. His wife has medical issues. He did not want to get her sick. I praise him for that. He wore a mask in his game, and he asked, hey, if you play on a game, could you wear a mask? Nobody complained. I said, sure, we'll wear a mask in your game because Dennis Astaire is a revered elder statesman in our hobby, and it's okay. And really, there was only. Do you remember anybody wearing a mask, Tenkar, in the games? I remember like one or two people, maybe. It wasn't a lot of people.
Not a lot. Listen, my estimate is maybe 1 out of 10 convention goers was wearing a mask. And listen, the people that were wearing a mask weren't wearing chin diapers. All right, they weren't doing it to signal, which is what I hate. I'm going to wear a mask, but it's halfway down my mouth because I feel I have a need to show that I'm doing the right thing, and at the same time, I'm telling you all, go screw. That to me is an issue. But if you seriously feel that you need to wear a mask, fine. Now, I'm not a medical professional, but I will throw this out there. If you're wearing a mask to protect others from you, any mask probably suffices. If you're wearing a mask to protect yourself, if you're wearing N95 or you're
better
not
have an N95 or one of those Chinese models, because the CDC came out this week and pretty much said we all know that so a little bit about Omicron, because I studied this a little bit because I had it.
Yeah.
It's extremely contagious. It's extremely easy to catch, as you can see by the numbers are just absolutely spiking right now. And the fact that my wife and I never go anywhere, I caught it. And so, yes, the numbers are spiking because it's really easy to catch. So the CDC came out and said, look, cloth mask probably is not going to keep you safe from Omicron because it's just that easy to catch. And so they're recommending, if you absolutely want to be protected, then you're going to have to wear an N95 or the like to do that, which if you've seen them, they cover your whole face and there's not, can't get through. But most people don't have access to those, or they can't find them, or they're hard to get, or they're, whatever. And so they're just probably going to have to quarantine as they did before and just stay inside. And I'll tell you what, even staying inside is not going to help, because I'll be honest with you, we just don't go anywhere. I don't know, even I'm trying to rack my brains thinking where we could even have caught it. And I guess just a chance walking by somebody in a gas station, maybe, or, maybe the guy handed me my Jimmy John's sandwich. I mean, that's how little contact we had anybody, and I still caught Omicron. So anyway, I mean, so other people wearing a mask shouldn't bother you. I'm always shocked when I see these stories about people getting into it with people that are wearing masks. Why do you care? I don't care. I don't care if you have a mohawk. I don't care if you're wearing a mask. I don't care if you're wearing a belly shirt, and you should not be wearing a belly shirt.
Oh, geez.
I don't care if you're a guy and your nips are pierced and you're walking around without a shirt on. Ouch! But
no,
I don't care.
Not at the convention, man. Not at the convention.
Please not.
That's verboten. No.
That's going to be a new fundraising thing this year, Eric. It's going to be, we're going to pay to see if we can get Zach's nipples pierced. So Zach Glazer, let's have some money on the table. Zach Glazer's nipples pierced. Come on, he'll do it for enough money. Probably not.
No, I refuse, man. I refuse.
So anyway, I, in the state of Texas, you're not allowed. Mask mandates are absolutely verboten. They're illegal. I mean, you can't do it. They're illegal anyway. We couldn't have a mask mandate if we wanted one. If Gary and I were the most virulent, pro-vax people ever, we still couldn't have a vax check because it's illegal in Texas. Not so in Wisconsin. It's different. Things are different there. So we got very little pushback, because I think what's going to happen this year is what's happened the last 2 years. Is I think that, and even Fauci said this. He says that this is going to burn through. It's going to probably peak into January. we're going to burn through this in about March, and we'll probably be fine about June, just like we have been the last couple of years. It gets warmer. The winter viruses burn through, and we're doing a lot better. So I have a feeling all this is going to be pretty moot when it comes time for North Texas. Now, that's just North Texas, though. Let's talk about the huge elephant in the room.
Can we please? Sir?
That's GaryCon. So GaryCon had to miss the last 2 years, and well documented by us and by others about what went on with that. This is kind of a make or break year, don't you think, Eric? They've got to have the con.
Oh, they have to. Listen, I'm no expert on this stuff, but I think if you don't have a convention for GaryCon this year, first off, you're going to lose vendors. Vendors are where most of your money's coming from. You're going to have vendors that are just going to give up. Are you going to lose attendees? You're going to have to anyway, and it's already been, over max. The convention literally sells out probably every hotel room and bed and breakfast and Airbnb within 25 miles of the convention. So it's not like you're going to, I don't know, man. It's such a large event that if you don't do it 3 years in a row, you're out of people's minds to a large extent.
Well, and there's different kinds of cons too. By the way, I'm having to drink a Michelob Ultra because I'm out of water. And seriously, this is pretty much exactly the same thing as water. So I found that in the fridge.
It's low carbs. It's good for the diet. I'm having my red wine
like water
in here. So
I'll have to remember to get some water. But well, the thing is, North Texas is the rare con that Doug paid for pretty much everything. And so whether it lost money, whether it didn't lose money, no, he didn't care. Nobody cares.
Right.
Most cons are not in that situation. Most cons are kept alive by the fact that they get this money every year that comes in. And I know, I don't know if we should name names, but I mean, Gen Con. Gen Con was desperate to have the con last year. They're a business. They employ people. They're missing a year. We're talking millions of dollars. I mean, this is a lot of money that they lost. They had to have the con last year. I think I don't know Gary Con's situation that much, but I would assume at this point, after missing 2 years, they pretty much need to have the con just to keep it going. The online cons, while they do bring in a little bit of money for most conventions, I know we talked last year. We talked to Angelia at TotalCon because we talked to her. She said that they were very disappointed by their online. She was pretty candid with us about that, and said that she was disappointed by the online sales because it's just not the same thing. I mean, people are starting to realize it's great. It's great to do things online, but man, getting in person. I mean, I had so much fun. I know you didn't go to Gamehole. Gamehole was a blast, man. I had so much fun. Finally seeing everybody since June. It's just a different atmosphere. I was willing to wear a mask all day and put up with that because
which is huge, Mike. And I'll be honest with you, I personally don't like masks. I respect those that want to wear it. I respect places that have mask mandates. I live in a city with a mask mandate pretty much everywhere, but I am very blessed that I am no longer working. I'm retired because if I had to go to work as a cop with a mask on my face for probably 10, 12 hours a day and during the midst of all this, I would have gone insane. So,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't fun. The longest I've had to wear a mask was at Gamehole Con, and I'll let you. I mean, I hated it. I mean, it was unnatural. I don't care what anybody says. I know Skeeter likes to brag that he runs 30-mile marathons and rips waits for 5 hours with the mask on. He doesn't have a problem. I have a problem with it. After about an hour, I have to get out and pull the mask down and breathe. It's just maybe it's psychological, but I have a big problem with the mask on. But I was so happy just to be around gamers and be having a great time that I just I was like, oh, I mean, if I have to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. But it's not my preferred method of gaming. And there's a problem with not being able to hear people. You have certain people that talk don't talk very loud. It's really hard to hear them when they've got a mask on too, because one of the things I noticed at Gamehole Con that I didn't think about very much is you take a lot of cues by what somebody says by looking at their lips as you're talking to, especially if it's kind of loud. You look at their lips, and even if you're not a lip reader, subconsciously, the way their lips move, you kind of get what they're saying. When they have that mask on, you don't get anything. You
lose that, and you lose that facial expressions. I mean, can you gather something from people's eyes? Sure.
Doug Kovacs. I love Doug Kovacs, but he has a very thick accent. It was almost impossible to understand the dude with the mask on. I had to keep leaning my ear in closer and closer to Doug because he just has such a thick accent, and then plus the mask, it was just tough. So no, it's not anything everybody wants to do, and it's tough. But I can understand, if that's the way you want to roll. If you feel like that's what you have to do to get people to con. I remember we both talked to Alex, and Alex said that he was very surprised by the amount of people that basically thanked him for having a mask mandate. And I don't know if it's just because of a cultural thing, because that's something that they're not that worried about in Wisconsin, but I know it's exactly the opposite in Texas. I mean, Texas, if you say there's a mask mandate, you're going to get people flipping out and say, "Oh my God, you're taking my liberty away! How dare you, sir? How dare you?"
Flip a table over it. Tell you what.
So it's exactly the opposite here. I don't know if it's because it's a southern versus northern thing. I don't know, but yeah, nobody down here. There's very few people that I see people wearing masks if it's mandated. Like if a store says you cannot come in here to wear a mask, people wear a mask if they want to go in there. But I'll give an example, like the movie theaters here. We've seen a few movies, in the last few months, and there's a sign there that says, "Please keep your mask on even while viewing movie." And I will guarantee you, the 2 or 3 movies you've seen, I've looked around, not one single person there's wearing a mask. Not one single person, and nobody is saying a word about it. Nobody.
But now, this coming not just from a rules lawyer, but from a former supervisor who watched my cops read instructions to the T. Please does not say you must. So please,
that's true.
Suggestion, please. And listen, when I go to the Poconos, at least prior to Omicron spread, when we're going up in like early December, there were stores you would go to. They would have their mask notification on the door, and it would usually say, "Please, we ask that you." But this is nothing says that you must. And we went to one supermarket where we saw one employee wearing a mask and nobody else was. And they still had that sign out in front that, please wear a mask. But obviously it was not.
You know what? If I see an employee, and that's who I mostly see wearing, like we'll go out to eat, my wife and I, the person working, the waiter or waitress usually have a mask on. If you go into some stores, and I can see that because let's face it, people are fucking rude and they're fucking stupid, and they will go out when they're sick, and they will shop when they're sick or go out to eat when they're sick because they don't give a damn. I worked with people who used to come to work sick because it just drove me insane.
I'll be honest,
it drove me nuts.
If I had a cold on my job, it was take a decongestant, take an aspirin, and go to fucking work. You don't go to if you're bedridden, if you've got the flu, you're running a fever, fine. But if you got sinuses. We all got sinuses. Get your ass to work.
Get your sinuses to work. Tell your sinuses to suck
Tell them to fall in line and get your ass to work. Now,
but I can understand somebody working at like I said, because there's people going to restaurants they're probably coughing. I know if I was I'm not gonna remember this story. Christy and I were sitting somewhere recently. Oh, it was a restaurant, but it was one of those seat yourself restaurants. We went in, we sat down. A couple sat next to 2 kids, and they were coughing. They were all coughing. We got up and moved 4 tables down because why? Why did they move next to us? Why didn't they sit 4 tables down? Because they're all coughing. I don't want little kids coughing. I mean, no, this is where I caught COVID. This is weeks ago. But we were just like looking at each other like that's just either rude or just not paying attention. You're coughing. We're 2 older people. I know we look young and hot. I mean, I do. My wife, she's doing all right.
I personally, I would have to. I would apply that description to your wife before I would you. But
thank you. You're trying to be on our good side. I commend you for that. But I look fucking ripped and hot myself. So I mean, yeah. So they didn't necessarily know we were old, but they probably should have guessed we were older. So they got all this salt and pepper right here.
We giving a senior
yes,
discount? Were you giving a senior discount?
I don't know about you, Eric. I forget to ask for it all the time.
Oh,
I always forget to ask for it, and I get it some places. I forget to ask for it.
I'm 54, and I was still working, so I guess I was 48 when I went to Friendly's with my niece, and I get the bill, and there's a senior discount attached to it, and I looked at it, and Shannon's like, "Uncle, what's wrong?" I go,
They just gave it to you.
I got a
That's when
senior
you know
discount.
you're old.
I go,
you know you're old.
She said, "What does that mean?" I go, "Well, they took money off the bill, so I pay less." She goes, "That's good, right? It means they think I'm old." You are old. So there you go. I took the discount, by the way. So
you get a 10% discount at Schlotsky's that I used to. I remember about half the time, and we went in there enough to where the lady was adding it for a while. We haven't gone in for a while. We haven't gone in since COVID, so they probably forgot. But yeah, they started just adding it because this is the guy who always asked for 10% off. Because
he's got to be old.
That's the old dude.
We'll grade him on the curve. Give him a few years.
So back to GaryCon. So GaryCon is the same weekend as TSRCon. TSRCon has no mask, no vax. GaryCon has mask, has vax. So I guess to me the interesting question is, does this affect anything, or does anybody care? Because TSRCon is really not a con. It's like a house. It's like people up here to the warehouse, right? I mean, we got 3 rooms here in an area. I mean, you could fit about 15, 20 people in comfortably.
It's a 4-day game. Now, by the way, TSRCon was initially July 4th weekend, and that changed, and then it became the weekend of GaryCon. And then it became, I think it was initially 2 days, and then it was 3. Now it's 4 days. So now, again, their big thing is, you're right. Their big thing is no vax, no masks. Pretty much just gaming. And GaryCon is, as you said, it's masks. It's also vaccines, or they're going to test. I don't know if they're going to have to test.
Yeah, that was fuzzy on that. You have to have a test within 24 hours or something, or bring your. I
don't know how that's personally. I don't know how that's going to work. If you are masked, then you shouldn't need to worry about the vax. But I'm not a scientist. I'm not a medical professional. Please don't try this at home, because. Whatever. So, but here's the thing. TSRCon is certainly, you know what? I can't couch it in kind of words. Not that I really want to, but they are leeching off of GaryCon. Now, why do I say that? Because there haven't been rooms available anywhere within a 25-mile radius of the Grand Geneva resorts, probably for the last 10.5 months. Okay, since there's no rooms available, so the only people that are going to go to TSRCon are people that are already going to GaryCon.
Right.
Now, there are people that go to GaryCon and they're the big rollers, and they'll pay the extra dollars to play in a charity game at Gary's old house in the basement. And what's it, like $500 a head or something?
That's the one that does Paul Stormberg put that together? Somebody puts that together. I know, yeah. They run games in the basement there, and that's
on like the old sand table or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And that's Gary's old house. Awesome. And the money goes to charity. So now, if you're going to GaryCon, well, first one thing. If you didn't get there by car, you're screwed. Been there, done over. It sucks getting an 80 mile
Yeah,
Uber.
this is not a big town. For those who've never been to Leech Navy, it's a small little village. Or it's a resort town. So if you know what a resort town is, resort town, and winter is not the high time for resort. And so Uber and Lyft is probably going to be your best way of getting around there. There's no public transit really, although I do think there is a bus that picks people up in town and brings them to the Playboy Club. I'm not certain how that works. But yeah, it's a limited venue. So if you're, I think what you're going to get, Eric, I really think this will happen is I think people will come to just TSRCon. What they'll do is they're going to drive down for the day from either Milwaukee or Madison or some bigger place.
They might do a single day.
They're going to stay all day and then they're going to drive back at night because, I never thought this would happen. And I've been reading the tea leaves and reading the Facebook and checking out the tweets. And you know what? I didn't think I'd say this. And I've told you this, but I'm still shocked. I think TSRCon is going to do okay. And the reason is because they have positioned themselves as we are anti-woke establishment type stuff. And we're anti-rules, anti-government. And that is going to appeal to a certain segment of older gamer who doesn't like all the bullshit Watsy's spewing out right now.
Right.
And, I hate to say it, but I think Lanos and company have found the golden goose. And that's to appeal to these. Now, you're never going to get a lot of people. They're going to be okay with what you're doing.
But you might pay a salary and a half.
I think you'll do okay. I think I saw the fees they were charging for games, which I thought they look kind of ludicrous. I don't know. You know what though, Eric? I bet you they sell out every game. Well, I'm going to say that right now.
And here now, I have a question, and maybe the great official news source of all things TSR can ask the question that I can't ask because I don't think there's anybody at TSR that will answer the question if I ask it. But my question is this: if you're paying, and it's just an example. Okay, if you're paying, I don't know, Duck Larson, $100 a head, got 10 players at his table, it's going to be running an 8-hour session. Holy shit! These are the sessions that we ran when I was in high school. 8 hours, your whole Saturday, until somebody's mother kicked you out of the fucking house. Because
I love those. I love those days.
You got to get home before it's dark, but we only started playing at 11. Get the so an 8-hour session. God bless. Okay. $100 a head, 10 players. That's $1,000. And there's multiple sessions of those being run each day. I did the math the other day. I don't know. It's like $7,000 at least in a pot, not including the $5 a day admission that you got to pay. You can't pay for the whole weekend, by the way. I believe it's $5 a day. In any case, I want to know if I'm Duck Larson, if I'm Ernie Gygax, if I'm whoever it is that's going to get paid $100 a day, $100 a player to run Star Frontiers, not Star Frontiers.
I-20 modern.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Star Frontiers, the new Frontier. Yeah. I want to know what share of that money is going to the purse that's actually running the game.
I would love to know.
To me, that's it. Listen, if I'm playing in Ernie's game, I'd like to know, all right, well, okay, they're taking in $1,000. Ernie should be getting like 500, right? He should be getting at least half. And listen, I understand you got to pay heat. You got to pay.
You got to pay the rental.
You got to pay somebody to clean the shitter because you're going to have a bunch
of guys, a bunch of older men there. You're going to tear that place up.
Older men, they're going to do slobs. You're going to have over the course of the weekend. You're going to have one jackass that is that jackass that misses the ball.
Doesn't reach the toilet paper roll. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's kind of leaves the one little shred of toilet paper. You're like, you got to be kidding me, really?
If you gotta poo, make sure you take your own book with you just in case. But whatever, there are expenses involved in this, and the museum itself has to make money. I don't say any of that is false, but Venger Santanas is running games at $50 a head. What is V making? I mean, you can't tell me that V is doing it for nothing and giving I
No,
don't know,
Vinge
300,
isn't.
400 to the
I
con.
bet he'll. I bet you know what? I bet he'll say on his when he what's
He
the
might.
thing he does with pundit. Maybe he'll say on his little YouTube thing when he's making. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious. I think it's going to come out. I mean, it's not going to. It can't be a secret forever. It's got to. But yes, that does interest me. It really does. But I really, like I said, I looked at this adventure 6 months ago and I thought this is the biggest joke. Nobody's going to go there. They're not going to make any money. This is just ridiculous because the whole thing's a joke. And here we are 2 months before, and I'm going, could work.
Well,
I think
actually,
it's going to work because I think people in the last 6 months have gotten sick. And I am not saying this as pro con. I'm just telling you what I'm telling you. The attitude of the American people are they're sick of this shit and they're just tired of it. And like I said, I'm not putting any value judgment on it. I'm just telling you the way it is. And they're just like, I don't care if this is Omicron, and it's not worse than the flu because I have Omicron, and I will tell you right now, I've had worse sinus infections and I've had worse.
I've had
flu.
worse colds. The worst
Way
shit
worse.
from this so far has been honestly the brain fog and the lethargy. The amount of sleep that my body requires under this is a pain in the ass. But and the brain
not
fog,
everybody's the same. Some people have it worse. But mine was the smell and taste. That was just weird, and it's still weird because that's just crazy that you so completely can lose your taste and smell. But other than that, it's dealable, and so people are rightfully wondering why are we shutting down the whole nation when the majority of us can deal with this, and the majority of us have had shots, so the effect isn't going to be that bad. So I'm just saying, like I said, no value judgment. I'm saying this is what people are thinking. And the last 6 months are just getting more and more fed up. Now they're like, yeah, I'll go to Lanas's thing because I don't care. I don't care about wearing a mask, and I don't care about having a shot or a booster or whatever it is. And like I said, I'm shocked because 6 months ago I would have told you this was never going to happen. And if it did, I mean, remember when they first switched the same dates as GaryCon? We just laughed and laughed and said, "Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous." They're just hoping to glom off the people that are going to GaryCon. Well, now it looks fucking genius. It looks like a fucking genius move because that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to get the old school gamer who is going to GaryCon who doesn't want all this bullshit, and they're going to go over to TSR Con, and there's gonna be a lot of old farts just like them, and they're all gonna hang out and have a good time and bullshit with Ernie and Duck. And like I said, I'm surprised because I will admit I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong on this.
Well, listen, you're not absolutely wrong. Did I think it had the ability to be successful? Yes, because here's the thing: when they initially said July 4th weekend, the issue with July 4th weekend is again. All these hotels were going to be sold out.
It's a resort town. It's like we said, it's a resort town. Yeah. July 4th weekend is a non-starter.
Right.
Non-starter.
And here's the thing. You do a July 4th weekend, and you don't have gamers. You'll have the local gamers, but you're not going to have gamers in town for July 4th weekend. For GaryCon, you've got a couple of thousand gamers in town. Just about all of them have cars, even if they had to rent them to get from an airport. And that means that, yes, they can potentially play in your games. Now, my only thought is he might be pricing himself out. But if you figure a lot of these gamers are going to be doing we'll go one day to the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum and spend the rest of our days at GaryCon, then it suddenly becomes, all right, so you spent, the cost of another convention. Playing a game with Ernie, with Duck.
And I'll tell you a quick story too, Eric. This was years and years ago, and this is the kind of mentality we have here too. So we sit there and say $100 for a game, that's ridiculous. But when I first started selling on this is even before eBay. When I first started selling online in the 90s, I had a guy inquire. So somebody was selling a collection of pulp magazines and was asking some crazy prices for them, like $200 a piece or something. Which are probably worth that now, 25 years later, 30 years later. But at the time, I thought that was crazy prices. And I remember telling a guy who was online looking for him, I said, yeah, this one guy's, he wants $200 a piece for these. I mean, I've got them all, but, not like I could ever sell them for that much. He said, I'd buy them for that much. You want to sell them? I'm like, yeah. What? He goes, I make that in an hour. That's an hour salary. So to me, to have those magazines, whatever the 11 magazines he's looking for, it's worth that. It doesn't bother me. And so sometimes we look at things through a lens of what we would be comfortable with spending or selling. And I'll give you another example. I have friends, and this isn't just Zach Glazer, this is other people too, that when they go to dinner, they don't think anything about going out and having a $200 dinner. My wife would die if we ever spent that much money on dinner, because that's just not what we do. A big dinner, like a big dinner for us, like something that just a blowout dinner would maybe be $100. That would be her and I having like maybe a $40 meal, $50 meal, and then tip, an extra, whatever, $40 or whatever. That would be a huge meal for us. We would never in a million years think about dropping, let's say, $500 on dinner. I know people that do that.
Oh, yeah, I can't.
They don't think, that when you get wine in there and drinks and you're top shelf steak and Wagyu beef. Yeah, they're $500. And so what's comfortable for one person to spend money on is not for another person. But so you can't run everything through your own lens. I personally, like when I look for gaming stuff, I look for deals. I look for something that might be cheaper. I don't sit there and go, yeah, I'm just going to buy that, game book for $300 because I really want it for $300. I'll say, well, maybe I can find it for $150 or $100. But there's people out there that like $100 for a game session, that they spend that much on to gas up their car or their truck, or they spend that much to go to dinner with their wife. So they're like, yeah, $100, that's no big deal. So what you and I look at, Eric, and think, man, that's just crazy to spend that much. There's a lot of people out there that just, whatever, not going to bother me at all.
You know what? You're right. I'm not saying they don't have Wagyu beef at McDonald's.
I've actually been to a restaurant.
Yeah, they don't even have.
I don't just eat it. I don't just eat at McDonald's. Matter of fact, I rarely eat at McDonald's. So, how dare you, sir? How dare you?
How dare you?
Who is Metal Robot? That's not. Who is that? That's somebody we know, because he's giving me a hard time. So that's somebody we know.
Well, you don't have to know Mike to give him a hard time. Let's be
I know, but this sounds like somebody has a personal connection to me. Like we might have made love. I don't know. At one point, so. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric. I didn't mean to digress.
No. And just not to derail what we're talking about, but Josh says he misses the hanging out that you don't get it on Roll20. But
sure. It's Ed. Of course, it's Ed. Oh well, no wonder, because Ed's a jerk. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I love it. Ed's awesome.
So here's the thing: when you go to a convention and you're behind a mask, it's not the same hanging out as it is at a convention without a mask. And I'm going to be the first to say that. Well, not the first, but I'm going to say that now. I'm going to be blunt about it. It's not the same. Roll20. We play on Roll20. I have a gaming group with people like Joe the Lawyer, Tim Shorts, Matt Jackson, Rob Conley, Greg Christopher, Jeff Jones, myself, and we do it Roll20 in Discord. And you know what? We have an amazing fucking time that we derail shit all the time.
Oh, it's great.
Face to face, because we have that connection. The thing is, at a convention, you have to create that connection.
Sure.
And it's a hard connection to create behind masks. If you have your local gaming group get together at a convention and you're wearing masks, you're going to have that chemistry. It's going to work fine. Masks aren't going to mean a thing. If a bunch of strangers, you're not getting those facial expressions, it's going to suffer. Personally, and that's just my take on it. Again, reason why I don't like wearing masks at a convention. I was very happy North Texas didn't require it. I was fully vaxxed. I am now vaxxed and boosted and corrupted by Omicron, the Decepticon. It's not afraid of your vaccine.
I feel even safer now, because the reassuring words I was told to me by two doctors were along the lines of, you have Omicron, you're doing, your natural immunity should be pretty good now. So I'm actually feeling pretty good about North Texas at this point, just because of that. But yeah, so our comfort level, like I said, I wouldn't pay $100 a game. I wouldn't pay $50 a game, but because and for full disclosure, in North Texas, we charge the princely sum of $5 if you pre-register for a game.
Wait. You charge
$5 if you,
hold on a second. But dude, you know what? For your one game session, I can get an admittance for one
that
game
is why we do
day.
it.
No, for $5, I can go to TSR Con. I can't play in any game, but I can go to TSR Con and I can go in there. I can take a shit in the shitter and leave my mom.
Yeah,
you know, I can look at some tchotchkes.
We listened to our attendees, and years ago we were told that some games fill up too much. So Doug, in his infinite wisdom, we sell half the tickets for a game at $5 a piece if you want to buy them beforehand. The other half go on sale or thrown in the pot as normal, April 15th. So, but yes, you can buy it for $5. You can buy a seat at a game. So I have to admit, we're guilty of the same money grubbing proclivities there.
You're a money grubber. You grub money.
We can make princely sum of up to, I don't know, let's say you have 10 people in a game. We can make up to $25 a game. How about that? And guess what? The DM gets none of it. None. Zero. We don't give any.
Damn.
Nothing. Nope. All goes to the con. Sorry, you're SOL if you're a popular guy.
There you go. You know.
Yes, Cal, we did a fast pass pretty much. Actually, it's one of the most well-received things we ever did. Every once in a while, Doug had a great idea. And actually, I'll be honest, it was we heard that from a lot of people that was like, man, I never do this. I'm gonna brag on myself a little bit. I never do this ever. I'm a very humble person, but
the most organized man in gaming.
My B1 game used to be the first game that would fill up every time. It would fill up within literally a minute, and my game's full. So there's some people that would never get in my game, never get into it, and they said, we just want a chance to get in your game. I'd love to. I mean, I'd love to be able to sit and hang out with you and stuff. So we instituted that. People were very happy because people like Zach Glazer finally got to my game. He was never. I think it was Zach. I can't remember, a couple other people, and of course that's where the famous quote that was the famous email from Errol Otis that made me realize that I was the luckiest man in America. The year that he sent me an email asking if he could please get in my game because it filled up too fast.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there going, do I play this out? Do I say, fuck no, Errol, you do this like everybody else does, or do I fanboy the shit out of it? And I'll let you decide how that worked out. I fanboyed the shit out of it. So I said, yes, of course you're in, Errol. I'm going to tell Errol Otis he's not in my game.
Errol,
but yes.
Errol, go pound sand, man.
Sorry, man. Dude, who do you think you are? What have you done? What have you done in this
grandson? Punch it out with the young man.
Errol is an absolute delight. He's been in my game twice. He's an absolutely delightful person. And I'm hoping, I saw he's at Gary Con this year. By the way, I have a bone to pick with Gary Con too in just a second. You want me to rant on this too?
Oh, if you're going to rant on that, I'm going to get wine. So
I looked at Gary Con's guest list and I saw almost all our guests on their guest list. So what? Luke, you need to pick up the pace and start trying to find some different people than us, because it looks like you're glomming all our guests, man. I'm actually just mad that I haven't already asked some of those people. But Gary Con's guest list and our guest list are going to be remarkably similar this year. Remarkably similar. And that's including some of the people we haven't even asked yet. So that our guest lists are going to be remarkably similar.
How could that be?
It's because Luke has no imagination. He just chose the same people we choose every year. So yes, that I was shocked to see their guest list and going, yeah, we've asked him, we're going to ask him, we've asked her, we're going to ask her, yes, no, yes, maybe, yes. I'm like, what the hell? So if you can't make it to Gary Con, if you make it to our con, you'll be very very close. By the way, our confirmed guests as of right now are Alan Hammock, James Shields, Levi Combs, Christopher Clark, Jeff Easley, Zeb Cook, Jason Bronkowski, Casey Christopherson, Alex Kamer, Bill Webb, Skeeter Green, and Jeff Kalanian. You know what? I'm going to give everybody a little bit of you know what? Let's just do this. I was on the phone yesterday confirming people. You want to know who I confirmed also for the second wave?
I'd like
You
to.
want me
But I mean, guess
come
I'll be
on.
going.
Come on.
Justin Manassa is going to be a special guest. Holy shit! I mean, I never expected that, man.
Okay, so one person I forgot. One person I talked to earlier and I forgot. He should have been on the first wave was Stefan Porcorni. I forgot. I just forgot to put include on the first wave, but yes, he said yes when I went to Game Hole. Jeff D and his wife Manda. Greg Gillespie, creator of Dungeon Dude. Yep. Jason Hobbs. Come on, man. Jason Hobbs. Love the guy.
Friends.
Yes.
The Hobberini.
Dr. Scott Robinson. And one half of the creators of Buddies and Burrows, who will be running Buddies and Burrows, and Dennis Sestair, who is the other half of the Buddies and Burrows. Yes. Now, Dennis I talked to him. He said he probably will not be running games this year. He is missing playing in games. He ran games he's been running games for quite a few years now. He wants to play in a game. Dennis can do whatever he wants. Jim Wampler and Tim Kask. Diesel LaForce, who I just talked to today, and one guy I like to call Steve Winter.
You like to call Steve Winter, or
I would like to call Steve Winter? I'm going to call him Steve Winter because he's Steve Winter. And I would also like take this moment. If Ed Bickford's still here, Ed, I would like you to be a guest at North Texas. So I'm just springing that on you right now.
Wait, time out. Now I'm going to parse this. Ed, listen to what he said. He wants you to be a guest, so pay your fucking money. Because he didn't say special. He just said guest.
Well, Ed said he's already coming.
So
that's the best kind of special guest.
He's already there.
Guest, you've already bought your room and your ticket. So he accepted. But yeah, Ed's a great guy. I really didn't know much about Ed till last year. He came to the con. I saw him again at Game Hole Con. He's working on some stuff for us. He's a great guy. Fun guy, funny. Just I hung out a lot with him at Game Hole Con and just but no, we're I don't know any reason. And I saw that Gary Con named him a special guest. I was pissed because I'm like, why are they grabbing? They're grabbing all our guests. So yes, thank you, Ed.
North Texas is the overachiever of gaming conventions. Like, oh, sure, we're only 450 guests, but special guests.
I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. Gary Con, I counted up. They've got 41 guests, and they're not through. I was embarrassed because we're the ones that usually have like 30 guests, and we're like this tiny little con. That I don't know what to think. I don't know what's going on there, but I felt like we might need to beef up the special guest total this year. Maybe throw another 10 on there because I had 36 guests picked out. I may have to toss a couple more on there. But yes, John, so thank you, Ed. Ed, you will be you'll get the special guest treatment, which can be shocking.
I don't get that. Come on, Josh.
Ed's a great guy, a great artist, great guy. And yes, so I'm glad you accepted. And we're gonna have some pretty artist heavy stuff. Look, I don't know if you looked at our list this year, but we've already got James Shields, Jeff Easley. We're gonna have some, and Ed. We're gonna have some really good artist representation this year. Jason Brown, or actually Bronkowski now.
I still know him as Braun. He can be.
I know it's gonna be tough,
but that's okay.
It's gonna be tough.
Josh, it's a good year to come back to the con. Tenkar's Tavern, this channel, and the website. We are going to sponsor a room, and it's going to be the tavern. And the idea is we are going to stock it with alcohol. You are more than welcome to bring alcohol to stock the room with, because it's not, the tavern's funds are not endless, but we plan on at least getting enough alcohol to start it. I'm not saying get stupid, but I am saying it's going to be a place for folks, hopefully, to step aside, refill, step back to their game.
Now, I would like to say one thing about our guest list. This is only the second wave. We have a third wave coming also. So we're up to about 24 guests now. We're going to have 36 guests. So we got another 12 coming up in our third wave. And by the way, what wave you're in has no effect on how much we love you or how much what you're there. Honestly, it's kind of random or whoever I just happen to be talking to that day. I'm going to give you an example. Like I had to contact Dennis about something else. I thought, okay, well, I talked to Dr. Robinson. I'll talk to Dr. Sestero and ask him then. So yeah, it was based. A lot of that was based on, I just have to talk to this person, or sometimes I get contacted like, by the way, my special guest this year, I just want to know so I can make plans. And I'm like, oh yeah, you are. So boom, I have to put them on the list right then.
You're on the list.
You're on the list.
By the way, Bill Barks is in the room. Bill, the reason why I drink out of this wine, not glasses, mugs, whatever you call it, these are the wine decanters. It's because I use ice in my red wine, and that way you can't see into the fucking glass. And you and your son, damn it, I've been mocked in the past. So,
oh boy, Jeff remembers the infamous Holiday Inn. Josh, a few years ago, that small combat airport after North Texas, was that it was over. Oh no. Okay, no, never mind. Oh, Josh was. Oh yes. Where have you been, man? You've been AWOL for a while. And oh my gosh. This is Josh McQueen. Josh McQueen. Yes. Josh McQueen's a great dude. Yes, we did. I think we did that con. Oh, what was the con? It was Texas Game Expo. No, it was the other one before. It was a con they're out of business now. They're gone. But yeah, Josh and I worked that con together a few years ago. Yeah, Josh is a great dude. Good. I haven't talked to you. That was, it was 2015. It was a long time ago, Josh. Anyway, so I thought Josh was talking about the Holiday Inn Hotel, but no, he was not. He was talking about the other con that we both did together. That's right. His daughter had a lot of medical issues. I remember. I'm glad she's doing better. I hope that everything keeps going good with her. But I know he had a real rough time with her. Anyway, so we would love to have you back at the con, Josh. Love to see you again, definitely. Anyway, so I pimped the con. I feel bad. I used a lot of our time to pimp my.
No, but it was relevant to the discussion because.
Can I do some more pimping? Can I keep pimping? Because I like to pimp. I'm a pimp.
Be your pimp away, bro.
Not the kind you dealt with when the hose of Hunts Point. Not those kind.
Dude. When we stopped the pink convertible with two pimps with the feathered hats and the purple suits.
Days.
Oh my God, that I wish I had an iPhone back then. I would have been taking pictures of the whole, because nobody would believe you if you hadn't stopped.
Oh, those days actually happened. So anyway, I just wanted to say that right now we're still working on getting the webpage up. The webpage is a disaster. We took it down. If you want information about North Texas, we have the Facebook page is really the place to go. You can also go to Tabletop Events. Gary is going to get the events being able to be listed up, I think, next week or the week after. So you'll be able to start listing your events. But we are running auction. We have also something called North Texas RPG Con Auctions page. We just ran an auction last week where we are auctioning off some of Doug Ray's belongings to go to his estate.
I bid on a lot of shit. I don't think I won anything.
You didn't. You got. Man, those Sorcerer's Apprentices. Did you see what they went? Good.
I don't know what it went for in the end. I actually
went for $250. You were right there. You were right there.
I had 4 out of the 6, and I was like, I'm only bidding really for me on 2 of them.
I know, and you bid pretty good. You made us some money, man. I appreciate it.
Listen, I'm happy. By the way, folks, these auctions are for a good cause. If you're going to spend money on gaming, you can find some bargains. You will be surprised what you find. I was surprised by Sorcerer's Apprentice popping up because Tunnels and Trolls stuff is kind of rare, and I'm a bit of a Tunnels and Trolls geek.
And you know what? I'll tell you what's interesting about that magazine. It's a very professional magazine, and they had some really big authors that wrote stories there, much bigger than Dragon. Dragon had Gardner Fox. I mean, that was it. I mean, who was kind of a has-been by then. There was some, and that has a lot of Tunnels and Trolls content. The Sorcerer's Apprentice magazines, they were actually pretty high quality for a few years. And I was surprised when I looked on eBay what they were going for, because I'm here going through Doug's stuff to see what would be good to auction. And I was like, Sorcerer's Apprentice, yeah, I'll put them on there as a lot for, I don't know, whatever. And I started looking, I looked up on, whoa, that issue's going for $80. Whoa,
Yeah.
this issue's going for 75. Whoa, what's going on here?
No,
Well,
it was,
apparently
it was a
things,
good
it was
collection.
a very
And
good issue.
I'll be honest with you. I figured it would probably, I thought it was going to go relatively cheap, but I was still in for the long haul because Tunnels and Trolls collectors are not like classic D&D collectors. We are few and far between. So could I have filled some holes in my collection? Yes. I'm happy though that the money went to the con, and I was instrumental in pushing it up there.
The money went to, so that was money. So on the North Texas RPG Con auctions page, we're going to be auctioning stuff for Doug's Estate, which that auction was. We're going to have 2 auctions every month. We're also going to be auctioning stuff for just purely con. The con gets all the money, 100% of it. I also have some auctions of my stuff on there. And of the stuff I'm auctioning, 20% of that will go towards the Doug Ray Memorial Fund. We finally set the fund up, putting the money aside right now, but eventually we'll have the Doug Ray Memorial Fund up. So 20% of that goes to the Doug Ray Memorial Fund. So anyway, just to let you know, so if you want information on the con, unfortunately the webpage is down. It's been down for a while. It was garbage. It looks like a 1999 page made with Word 3.0.
Web
It's really
2.0, man. Web 2.0.
As Doug says, it works. It worked, so he didn't worry about it. But then we thought a couple years ago we need to take it down. Well, the time came and it's dead. So go to Facebook or go to and like I said, if you go to the Facebook page, check out the auctions. I'm going to be auctioning some stuff next week. I've got some really interesting stuff going on for my collection, and this is called Let's Clean Up the Warehouse, because I've got some big giant lots of just giant stuff like hardback books. I've got a lot of like 9 or 10 hardback TSR novels. I mean, I've got some Dwarven Forge boxes. God, those things are everywhere here. I got to get rid of those. I'm never gonna use it. I need to get rid of it. I got some Dwarven Forge stuff. I got some lead miniatures, and I'm talking lead Ralpartha miniatures.
Yeah,
still in the box. So,
by the way,
so check that out.
Metal Robot has possibly goodies for the auction, Mike.
Ooh, yes, thank you, Ed. We'll do, yes, anything. And by the way, anybody wants to donate stuff, we take anything, like everything, like comic books. The guy came a couple years ago, had a bunch of comic books. I'm like, yeah, comic books, we put them in a big lot and we'll sell anything. We have, because during the auction, we also have what's called the silent auctions, where there's a big, long, kind of like a bar in the main ballroom. And so we put these stacks of stuff there and a little sheet there, and you just write off during the day how much you want to spend on it. And we've had some pretty good silent auction items up the last couple of years. Just like huge stacks of like magazines, just stuff that it's just hard to sell individually because they're not worth a lot individually, but if you get a whole bunch of them together, it might be worth something. So yeah, we will take it, pretty much anything. I don't a lady a few years back donated a bunch of she did glass work, and she had a bunch of glass that had like die 20s in them, and so we auctioned some of those off last year. So yes, anything you want to donate, if you want to bring to the con, and we'll take it. So end of promo for North Texas. I appreciate everybody's really helped out, and by the way, we made over $2,000 this weekend for Doug's family, so that was awesome. That was way more than just a dozen items. We had just a dozen auctions. We made over $2,000. I was extremely pleased by that. So thanks everybody who bid on that stuff. And we're going to have these twice a month, every month now. So just keep checking it out.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I know. Dwarven Forge, that's the problem. Dwarven Forge piles up on you, man, big time. And Dwarven Forge is one of those things that seems like it'd be great to have a lot of it, but then you get it and you're like, what do I do with it?
Exactly.
Because it just takes up so much space.
And it's funny because when I was back in Dwarven Forge early in my marriage, Rach was like, "Oh, that stuff's cool. Oh, that looks great. Yeah, go ahead and get put a couple $100 into it." And then years later, it was like, "What the fuck are you gonna do with all this shit?" I'm like, "Give it to Shannon, my niece." I mean, please. I mean, I'm not running games out of the house. Okay, I literally don't have the room. This house was built in 1905. It's a two-family home. Just don't have the space for it. And if I was in a place that had the space for it, I wouldn't probably have gamers close enough to do so. By the way, I'm going to do a COVID nose blow. So mute.
Oh dear, you can always put the mute on. You're going to mute that thing. There you go. Well, the thing about Dwarven Forge is, Well, Dwarven Forge, you get all this cool stuff, and then you're like, okay, do I build the dungeon while they're going through it, or do I have it pre-built that I have to pull the sheet off? I mean, it's so specialized in how you have to do it. Now, I'll tell you what Dwarven Forge is great is for con games, because Stefan Porcorny does a great game up in his little private room upstairs, and he has the whole thing all set out. And so it's just like a huge castle or something. So you can like, okay, you walk your little guy up there, like, whoa, there's a bridge and there's lights over here. There's a fire over here. I mean, it's just so cool. But other than that, it's kind of hard to use it in actual play.
Yeah.
One of the things I had my grandson do when he was younger, my grandson Jake, was I gave him all the Dwarven Forge, had him build his own dungeon. So he'd build his own dungeon, and then I would sit there and populate it and say, okay, now we can run through your dungeon. He loved that. He thought that was great.
I don't know. It's something that I thought I would get a lot of use out of and looked really cool. But it was like the 13-year-old of me and not the 50-plus-year-old of me.
Very aspirational person.
Me would have had a lot of fun with it. But at 50, like, if I set this shit up, my wife is going to be very upset that I've taken up a table. Or what can I do? A shelf? How much can I display on a shelf?
Right.
No. The reality is, it's not like girders and panels when you were a kid. It's like, oh, I'm going to build an airport on my bedroom floor. You do that as an adult with Dungeon Forge. You're no longer an adult, man.
You better have a really big house and a room you can just like totally give over. I remember one time when Jake built a big giant dungeon on the kitchen table, and it sat there for way longer than it should have. And my wife finally was like, this needs to move, because it was there for about 2 weeks. I was like, but we're playing it. And she's like, no, we need to eat dinner on the dinner table. And like, nowhere else to put it. I guess we're just going to pick it up because there's nowhere to put it. So yeah, it can get out of hand pretty quickly. And I know people that have tons of terrain, and yeah, unless you have a dedicated game room, like, and I know some people that do. They have just an awesome dedicated game room. They can afford to, get tons of that stuff, but not here. Not even with the warehouse, we don't have enough room.
When I was looking to buy a house prior to COVID and prior to my congestive heart failure, I was like, I want a dedicated game room / dining room where we were going to have one of those gaming tables that can be used as a dining room table.
Yeah.
I had permission.
Oh,
it was awesome. But the reality is, what you have, you couldn't have left it set up as a gaming table because it would have been the dining room table. So,
nope.
It would have been rough. And as Bob B says, no basements in Texas. Yep.
Nope. Yeah, that's what sucks for us here. There's a lot of a lot of people that play they'll play in their game room here in Texas. We don't have dedicated basements, unfortunately, because the soil issues. That's what I always hear. I've heard that my whole life, because our soil is so crappy. Our clay soil is too crappy.
Oh.
It contracts and expands, and so apparently when you build a basement, after about 10 years, it's got cracks all in it. It's just looks terrible. So
that makes sense. See,
it's sad but true. Yeah.
It's funny because I live in Queens, and whenever they build anything big, generally bigger than like 2 or 3 stories, they got to pound in the wooden pylons, because Queens is part of Long Island. It's a giant sandbar, so it will shift, it will settle. So you have to go down to the bedrock, and they got to put wood pylons down to reach the right depth to hit the bedrock, and then build upon that. So you'll sometimes hear that in the summertime for like weeks on end, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, as they're pounding that shit in like 3 blocks away from your house. So
we had another subject we were going to cover, and I damned for the life of me can't remember it.
All right, so hold on a second. We did have the God. Now hold on. I think I still have the Cards Realm crap of the TSR. We're going to talk about Giant Lands too, by the way. I've got some more. I've got some info on Giant Lands, by the way. All right, we'll get that in a second. So apparently, Cards Realm is like a news site that's mostly about collectible card games. They also cover D&D. And now that I'm looking at their website, if you go to cardsrealm.com, spelled just like it sounds, up on the top of the screen, there's a pug that says TSR refills their lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast.
Refills, yes.
Refills, not refiles.
Oh, refills? Oh no! Oh no!
All right.
Oh no!
But when you click on that, now they took down
dear.
the pop-up, and the pop-up said effectively, TSR, the original publishers of Dungeons and Dragons, have refiled their lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast on 12/29/2021. So they also got, I had a typo there, and I thought, well, maybe they have a typo because maybe TSR 3, new TSR 3.5, what do you want to call them, sent them the ad copy. But since they couldn't even fucking do this shit right, I'm assuming that they're just incompetent. So maybe, but now it pulls up a dead page. I'm not even going to show it to you. It pulls up a dead page because I guess they didn't enjoy the mocking that they got from this channel and I guess other sources. When it's like, no, TSR, the current version of TSR, is not the original TSR. When TSR got bought out, lock, stock, and barrel by Wizards of the Coast, TSR became part of Wizards of the Coast. And just because you can trademark the name and relaunch TSR with a member of the Gygax family, it does not give you any rights to the legacy. As I explained on a prior video, if you're a football player, the Houston Oilers became the Tennessee Oilers, became the Tennessee Titans. And as a Jets fan, when that happened, I went, wait a second. The Jets were the New York Titans before they were the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a deal, and part of the deal was that the Tennessee Titans did not inherit the record of the New York Titans. That was the Jets' record. And besides which, the Oilers had their own record from that back in 1960. So just because you take the name doesn't give you the heritage. It doesn't give you the history. So if Coca-Cola was somehow to lapse its trademark and Mike grabbed it, Mike could not say, I'm the original creator of Coca-Cola. No, you're not. You're just a dumb fuck who happened to get the name. Not that I'm saying anybody's a dumb fuck in particular. Certainly not Mike. And I can't say about anybody else who might have done any kind of trademark sniping. But if you think if you're offended by what I said, maybe it applies to you. I don't know. I'm sure somebody's offended. So somebody's going to do a video about the video. So, but go ahead, Mike. Because I'm sure.
I was going to say I finally saw a live or on Twitter. They had a guy do a review of Wonderfield, and he only did the first. I only saw the first book, and it was kind of a like an unboxing opening thing, and he was talking about it, and this guy was not kind at all. Not at all. And the thing that really got me the most was that see, now sometimes people do reviews. Not everybody's unbiased who does a review, right? And it seems like from the very beginning,
come on.
he kind of had a bone to pick, maybe, but this is a $130 product. It's expensive, and so if it's that expensive,
time out, Mike. The price was it depended on which part of the website you went to order it. The price varied,
which is weird. Yes, which is very weird.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you got anything more with a mask included. I understand you need to wear masks. Please.
Well, this guy just went over the first guide, which is the Spirits Guide. I'm just going to summarize some of the stuff he said. So he complained about the fact that Ernie Gygax is listed both as Gary Gygax Jr. and Ernie Gygax in there. Now, Gary
Gygax Jr. on the cover because it'll sell books.
I saw a post by Ernie where he says this is not he doesn't like that. He says that he says yes, he agrees. He said he did not agree to be called Gary Gygax Jr. on that product. and so he seemed to be a little embarrassed by that himself, because he, as you know, Ernie's gone by Ernie his entire life.
Yes.
Nobody calls him Gary Gygax Jr. except for Lanasa and Deinhardt, because they're wanting to pump their products up. This guy, so the guy's name is David Floor, FLOR, if you want to look for him on Twitter. He pretty much just rips it. He says it's unplayable game. Now, I would still have to look at it, but the points he brings up are pretty mind-blowing if it's true. He says it's written badly. Need an editor. I don't know who edited it. I have no clue. I know that Jim wrote it, but I don't know. You still have to have an editor. I don't know who edited it, but he says the editing was left a lot to be desired.
But
there's
it's a beta,
lot of,
right? Remember, it's a beta. You're paying $130 to be a beta tester, because you'll get play tester credit if you sign up and register your game for the new edition of Giant Lands after they sell out the 2,000 copies of the beta at $130 a pop. Sorry.
Apparently, on the back cover, and you have a copy, right, Eric? Did you have a copy of Giant Lands, or not?
Oh,
I can't remember if you got a copy.
Dude. I'll be honest with you. I've offered I've asked the community if I should, pick up a copy, and nobody said yay and nobody said nay. So I think that nobody.
Well, on the back, apparently there's a full ad for Giant Lands theme park on the back, which this guy kind of rips.
Oh my
says,
fucking god!
Why? You don't put that on a game box and say,
on the back, you could put it as
back of the game
as
box,
an insert. But wait, time out, Mike. I got to ask you a question then, because maybe I missed something. Is there a Giant Lands theme park?
There is not, but he wants to raise the millions of dollars that will someday have a theme park, or however much. I would think it's going to be millions, right? I mean, have to be millions of dollars. Theme parks are expensive.
So this is kind of like self-flagellating.
So anyway, apparently Giant Lands is a die 100 game. It's not an old school game, folks. And Eric, I shared you the post of that friend of mine who bought the game not knowing any better. And that guy was not happy, was he? He was, because he specifically bought the game. As we said, he was somebody that came back from gaming, didn't know a lot about it, saw that it was TSR, saw it was Ernie Gygax, thought it was old school, bought it, was extremely unhappy with what he found, because it is in no way, shape, or form an old school game, which we were pretty
sure it wasn't an old school game.
Yeah, we knew the case to begin with, but I think a lot of people got tricked into it by thinking that it's TSR, because remember for a while it was being hawked by TSR.
And TSR, and it's got Jim Ward, and it's got Ernie Gygax. But then they would show the playtest photos with people wearing masks and
capes and costumes.
Now, Mike, no, I listen. I don't want to embarrass you or anything, all right? But please tell me true. Tell me why you gamed with masks and capes as a kid, because that's what I understand old school gamers did. So please explain why
we would have never in God's green earth have been caught wearing a mask or a cape as gaming. We were embarrassed enough to be playing D&D that we hid it from everybody until I got to college and found that other adults played it, and I was like, oh my god, people play it here. And but no, we would have never worn. I never saw one person ever wear a cape or a mask play D&D until I got to probably Gen Con in 2007. I mean, that's how. I mean, you just don't do that. It's just not.
You're telling me, because I just figured my experience in New York,
or unless you're Alex Kamer and you're playing a Call of Cthulhu,
role playing in your personal life is totally different than your gaming life. But I mean, I wanted to confirm that, because listen, I gamed in New York, both with the high school group and with the college club, and I gamed in the Poconos, and we never had masks, we never had capes. Although I'll be honest with you, in my 20s, I liked the idea of having an actual Lord of the Rings Hobbit cape, but I just didn't think that I could walk the streets and not be picked up by the cops for being emotionally disturbed and
All right. So I'm going to go over a few things here, and I don't know if you've read this review yet. So I'm just going to look at your facial expressions as I read all this.
Oh Jesus!
So I did send you the little thing where it says that you pretty much can't die in this game, right? That's what the guy was really mad about. I go, well, this is an old school law, because he was reading. He sent me the passage where it said that if you're hurt or dead, that doesn't make it. You're not having fun then. So we really don't care if you don't really have to die in this game ever. That's definitely not old school. So
right, okay.
Here's so instead of hit points, they use life force. Okay. Life force is basically the same thing as hit points, but in life force, when points reach 0, you die. But each character has 3 souls that can be restored to life that many times. So the first 3 times you die, you come back and you're fine because of your 3 different souls.
And then after that, you're not as fine.
I guess that you only get your three times and it's up. Now you do have to flip a coin when you die, and if you comes up a certain whatever I think it's called your house or your attribute or whatever, if that comes up on the coin, then you live. If not, you die. So basically every time you die, it's a coin flip.
So you have a 50-50 chance of not dying. I'm okay. That's kind of like the axe flipping the body and rolling on the table, and all right, you survived, but you were castrated. Right. Kind of type of deal. So live with that.
So character creation, you have to pick your species, sigil, chiefdom, and profession. However, it doesn't explain what sigil and chiefdom is, but you have to choose it anyway. But it doesn't really explain what that does. Well, for your ability, for your attributes, you roll a die 100. You've got
Jim on speed dial. Come on, call Jim up and ask him questions.
For your attributes, you roll a die 106 times. So your attributes are between 1 and 100, right? So how do you? I don't know. That's a pretty wide margin. So I could roll a 1 for my strength and 100 for my intellect, that's a pretty damn wide range there. But okay, Call of Cthulhu does the same thing, right? Call of Cthulhu has die 100 also.
No. Call of Cthulhu is 3d6 for the stats.
Oh. Well, but for
your bell curve going to the stats, you have
for your hit with a gun or something. Your skills are guy with it.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no bell curve here, so
you actually have so you roll for there's no bell curve. You roll your emotions. You have to select a fear by rolling a die 10. For your equipment, you have to roll a die 10 to determine what gear you get, but you have to roll for all your gear. So you can start out with anything like a shawl or a I don't know, plate mail or.
But there's a reason for that, right? Because there's probably no price list for anything.
I don't know, but
I'm gonna make you guess that nobody wanted to figure out a balanced price list, so just roll for your shit. And then you find your shit.
For life force, you had the highest and lowest of your mind, body, and spirit attributes. So that's a number between 2 and 200, which is even huger gulf there. You also have what's called a profession, but then it says you don't really get to choose a profession yet. So that's how you make a character. Very confusing, very kind of weird.
No, time out. You've got a profession that you don't choose yet?
Not yet. Not yet. No.
Oh, Jesus.
So
have a drink.
So here's the better explanation of how death works. If you have a soul left, when you drop to 0 life force, you flip a sigil coin. If the result matches your character's sigil, he is reborn in your chieftain's temple. If you don't have a chiefdom, you die, and you're reborn empty-handed. So you just come up, you're naked, and you're
dude. That's like EverQuest when we used to play that back. When EverQuest, like you died and you had to go back and loot your body. But you came back, you were naked, you had to go to your the bank and like see what little shit you had to go loot your own body. Oh man, that's old school, kind of, sort of.
So combat sequence, and you don't have initiative. It's based on your life force. The higher your life force, the sooner you go. So if your life force is 10, you're going to go last forever, every battle you ever do. Because I guess you're fat or you can't move around very fast. So your life force, because remember, this is a huge. That'd be me, man.
I'd be slow.
This is a swing. This is a swing from 2 to 200. It's a giant swing. So how do you make an attack? Well, the attacker rolls a die 100 and compares it to their hit value. If it's equal or lower, they hit the target. This has absolutely nothing to do with the nature of the target or its defenses. If the attacker hits, the defender rolls a die 100 and compares that to their armor value. If the defender rolls equal to or lower than their armor, then they take no damage. Now, armor values can be as high as 1,000.
Oh, wait. But you're rolling a D100.
So a die 100 to hit.
Under 1,000.
So if somebody's armor, I guess, is 500, I guess you can't hit them.
Dude,
I
have mind fog and brain fog.
It's not COVID. It's not COVID. It's giant lands fog.
I've got giant lands fog in my head. Mike.
They don't really they don't want to deal with movement. They say movement, like just move.
Do I have to drink this whole fucking bottle, Mike? Because this is a mag, and I just opened it up for this cat. Do I have to drink this whole thing?
It's only getting better. It's only getting better. So
it gets better.
We just said that.
I'm so sorry. Sorry. Mike, by the way, you gave me no clue that this was going to be part of the cast today. So
you weren't prepared, were you?
I love you, man, but fucking sit and rotate later on because you are fucking me bad.
Oh, I just know you'd love this. So remember, our abilities can go from 1 to 100, right? So you think, okay, well, can I get better? Yes, you can get better at stuff. So let's say that my life force is a 10. That's terrible. That's horrible. I want my higher life force. Every time you go up a level, guess what? You get ability points you can distribute across any of your 6 abilities. Guess how many ability points you get? 6.
All right. So wait.
And that's just.
All right. So I get
6.
I've got 6 abilities and 6 points.
Right. So you can put 1 point in each ability, or across 6 abilities, you could just put 6 in 1. So my life force of 10 just went to 16. Yay.
All right.
But then my other abilities didn't go up at all because I can only put 6 points.
And if is there like a leveling ability? Oh my God.
Look, you're asking too many questions. See, you're asking way too many questions. And each ability comes with an additional list that lists bonuses or tells you what you can do or what you can't do. I saw one of the lists on here. I will just say that this is the body ability score modifiers. It's a cluster. It's an absolute cluster. I won't even go into that. Their money that there's no governments in the 5th age to guarantee the value of cash. All intelligent beings use barter for commerce. That's not a bad idea. And usually the bartered items are furs and food. Not a bad idea. In game terms, however, mundane barter isn't a lot of fun. So gems replace cash as an exchange medium. Why? If cash isn't worth anything, why are gems? I guess gems are shiny. They look good when you put them on your sword.
You can have coins then. Paper money has no value.
No, you can't.
Fiat currency.
Nope. There's only gems. There's gems.
But there's only gems. So metal.
So here's some of the gem values.
You're giving me a headache, Mike, and I'm not going to blame COVID. I'm going to blame you.
An opal is worth 5 rubies. A ruby's worth 5 emeralds. An emerald's worth 5 diamonds. A diamond's worth 5 gold. Wait, they just said that. Well, never mind. A gold's worth 5 silver. A silver's worth 5 turquoise. A turquoise is worth 5 jade. So you got that all down, right?
No. Oh, actually, wait. Good question, Mike. And I'll pay for this. Are you planning on running Giant Lands at North Texas? I will buy a copy just so Mike can run it.
So if I have 35 diamond, that's worth how many opals? Well, I have to go through here. Okay, so 5 diamonds is worth an emerald, okay? And 5 emeralds is worth a ruby, and 5 rubies worth an opal. So that translates to I don't know the fuck what. I don't know.
There's a reason why we do use a decimal system, okay? A decimal system allows you to listen. We don't do math in a binary format, right? We use decimals. Mm-hmm. Decimals are easy to. The mind works in groups of 10. That's how it doesn't work in groups of 5 because 5 plus 5 is equal to 10, but 5 times 5 is equal to 25. And then it's 5. Oh my God! So it'd be all right. So how many separations are there, Mike? It is.
It's like I'm not gonna go over it again because it's hurting my brain.
No, because if
It's hurting my brain.
Well, here it is. If it's one step to one step, it's 5, and if one step to 2 steps, it's 25, and it's one step to 3 steps, it's 225, and then it becomes 11.
But they just said they only use gems, but then all of a sudden gold and silver in there too.
Well,
so I guess just gold nuggets or something.
Remember,
not gold coins.
Oh, time out. Remember, Ernie was a consultant, right? So this is probably Ernie had to like add something to the system, so he added gold and silver, and made it a classic game. There you go. That's why it's old school. You have gold and there's no Electrum though, right? Is there any Electrum in here? There's no Electrum.
No.
All right, that's not old school. You need Electrum to be old school. Sorry.
That's as far as this guy went in his description, and he said his brain was hurting. Which
God,
I think you can. I think you can agree with him that you can see where he was coming from when he says his brain started hurting him. He's only in the first book. He's only like 10 pages into the first book, by the way.
All right. So now here, I'm going to do something totally unplanned, but it's because I've got brain fog.
Oh,
and wine. All right. So, and that, it's not a paid promotion, but let's see if I can get this thing to show up properly. All right. This is the RuneQuest starter box. Order it from Chaosium. You'll get the PDF for it. Now, I got this like 2 weeks ago, and I need to cleanse my palate. So here's the deal. Fucking A. All right. I'm going to actually use a pen. Hopefully I won't write in the box. I'm actually here. I'm breaking shrink wrap. I mean, you can hear it. I'm ripping shrink wrap.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus. All right. That's probably because of intoxication. But here, this is what you get for a lot less money. It's a lot more playable. Did they say how much it is in the back of this box? $30, $29.99. You order through Chaosium, you'll get like PDFs for everything too. So I looked at the PDFs; they were awesome. So you get a lot of gaming shit in here, and God only fucking knows. But I'll tell you this much: this is classic Chaosium RuneQuest. You want a D100 system that works? Here, this is it, and
it's a,
and it comes with dice. They look like I don't know, puke colored, but I mean they're dice. But now I will say the box does not have any of that awesome inside box cover art that I saw in our Giant Lands unboxing, which was nice. But this is also a full size box, by the way. Giant Lands is what, digest sized?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a real size box.
No, it's not real size, or large size, but that would.
Listen, folks. You can spend $130 on something that is not really old school. This is old school. Okay. You can spend $130 on something that says Gary Gygax Jr. on the cover of the box to sell it as old school. Or you can spend $30 through Chaosium, get the PDF, so you get instant gratification because you'll have the PDFs and you can read them right away, which is what I did. And I was putting off on opening up this box. But here, I'm going to say in 2022, I want to run RuneQuest again. I haven't run RuneQuest since college. I ran RuneQuest 2, I ran Pavis and Big Rubble, and I was running a sandbox without knowing that it was a sandbox because we didn't think in that mindset back then. But Jesus Christ, Mike, $130 for a fucking Giant Land.
Well, he did run a little review of the monster book, and it looks horrific, absolutely horrific. The monsters all have really weird, wacky, odd names. You don't have your Minotaurs and your Manticores and your classic monsters. You have things called the Bikwas, the Biso, the Bushadai, the Kataja, the Chindi, the Clockwolf, the Dodd, the Dactyl, the Doe Woman, the Doffling. And he says that, and the guy who reviews it says that the problem with it is it has these really interesting kind of weirdo looking monsters, but there's no lore associated with it. So you just get this really weird picture, and this monster does really weird things, so you don't know, it's not like a Minotaur. Okay, you kind of know lore of a Minotaur, right? Or a Manticore, right? Because they're classic beasts. These are all made up creatures, so there's no lore attached to it. For instance, like something called an atahasia. So an atahasia stands 10 feet tall, looks like an overlarge human. In fact, these beings are human-eating lesser giants with low intelligence who often live alone in the hills. That just gives you the attack routines. Where'd they come from? What do they do? What's their? I don't know anything about them. I just know he's this thing. A shark dog. I mean, what is a shark? A yu-yu. What does a yu-yu do? I don't. You know. And there's pictures of. I mean, I think the pictures actually look kind of cool. Look like something you might find in the Lamentations of Flame Princess game, because they're kind of bizarre. But it's just they're just they're all out there enough to where you're going to have to do a little work as a DM. Just even when somebody asks like, "What does a yu-yu do?" You're like, "Well, it's this, and it looks like this, and I don't really know why it exists." It's just here. You're gonna have to do a lot of work explaining, like, "Well, here's where shark dog comes from, or here's what they do, or
what
whatever."
kind of yu-yu do you do?
Yu-yu.
You
So I will say at least they went the route of, well, we're going to have completely different things. We're not going to do the same old stuff. So I guess that's true.
That's like kind of like Skyrim to Jaroon or something like that. It's like it's not your daddy's RPG.
And that's the problem with games like as good as Skyrim's a Jaroon game was, and the same with Empire of the Petal Throne. One of the reasons they're not played very much today is because they're not very relatable to people. Because Empire of the Petal Throne is a great game that is very hard to describe to people unless they play it. And all the monsters, because you're on a different alien planet, all the monsters are so different that I can say a monster's name and it doesn't make any sense to you, unless you know the whole lore and logic behind it. And that's one of the dangers of creating stuff whole cloth, is that without descriptions, it just doesn't mean anything, And you boil it down to like, okay, I've got a monster called a Yimwatso. What's a Yimwatso? Well, he's like a giant bear dog with 4 legs or 4 claws. Okay. Okay, I can, whatever. But you're going to have to do that every single monster you do, because if you're living on this alien planet, and that, like I said, that's one of the reasons why games like Empire of the Petal Throne, Skyrim and Jaroon, even though they were beautiful games, looked great, nobody plays them very much because they're just so alien that nobody could relate to them. Wow. Anyway, so this guy David Floor, I don't really know much about him. His name is at Brain Clouds on Twitter. He has quite a few posts on this game. I only read some of them. I mean, he goes on and kind of highlights all the confusing rules and the stuff that doesn't make sense, and the word usage just doesn't make sense. And he highlights a lot of that. So if you want to check into it, but it sounds so. Apparently, Giantlands announced somewhere that this is just the basic game, and they're coming out with an advanced version.
Whoa! But it was a beta. Well, dude, how can it be a basic game if it was the beta test that you paid to play after the alpha test that they did at some conventions? This was I don't know.
I think you're going to have. I hate to say this, you're probably going to have to buy this, Eric, because this sounds like this would be an entertaining weekend. Because I'm not wasting my money on it, but this is the kind of thing that you can waste. That you should waste your money on, because it just sounds like it's all over the place. Now, I am going to benefit the doubt here. David Floor seems to come in this with he doesn't want to like it, so you can kind of influence. I
know David go through Facebook. I could see him going into it, not one. Now, I can see that perspective, but all right. So now listen here. We'll do truth in advertising. All right, this channel's made about $74 in AdSense revenue over the last 30 days. I don't think Giantlands is going to sell out anytime soon. Folks, if we can get that up to somewhere near 130 in the next month, I will invest the money from this channel. I will take the hit. So Mike takes the hit in a lot of shit. All right. Sure. Mike watches a lot of videos that I would sooner.
I watched the day that. I'm glad there wasn't a rope and a noose here at the warehouse. So, I might not have made it. It was bad.
That being said, Mike, I did watch a part of an unboxing video for Giantlands, and here I'll give you my quick impressions of it. Okay, you ready? I'll look at. oh, look at the cover art. Oh, it's by Elmore. By the way, I like Elmore's artwork. You look at the cover art of Giant Lands, and it looks like Elmore was like, okay, here's a background that I already have. Boom. Let me get a few cutouts that I already have. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. There we got the cover for Giant Lands. My opinion. I'm not saying that he phoned it in. I don't think he put the effort to phone it in. But it's Elmore artwork, and it's always good.
Right.
So, all right. So that was like, take the cover off. It was like, oh, look at that. There's art on the inside of the cover. Not for nothing.
And by the way, David also covers several areas in the rules where there's actual just flat out mistakes. For instance, there's a special ability chart where you roll 1 die 10 each warrior level. It's missing the number 7. Things like that, which should have been caught. That's pretty bad.
There's no number 7 in Giant Lands, dude. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. No, they just skipped it. Like, I don't like 7s. It's an unlucky number that's lucky.
It seems like a kind of a mistake.
Seems like,
and by the way,
in
the second book, Ernie plugs the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum. Ernie writes a forward in the second book, and he plugs the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum in the forward to the second book.
Well, these books were obviously they were done in layout.
I'm about to say that they didn't take that out later. I'm surprised.
I mean, that was, or nobody bothered to fucking read it. I mean, I think that's more likely what it is. But, I mean, again, what the unboxing I saw was as valuable as watching paint dry for my time spent, because all it was somebody oohing and eyeing over it for the sake of oohing and eyeing over it. And without no content, I mean, maybe, I don't think they bothered. They literally just broke the plastic and went, oh, squee.
I don't care what the product looks like. I want to know if you can play it. So some of the ugliest products I have are awesome. They play great. And some of the best looking products I have is just terrible. I mean, it's awful.
That's, I hate to say it, that's part and parcel with the way shit is these days. So, God help us.
It just seems like it's a corner. I mean, I would like to. I'm intrigued enough to where I'd like to look at myself and see if this is the cluster F that David says it is, or if he's being a little too harsh. It doesn't. He posts a lot of examples from the product, so it doesn't seem like he's actually being that harsh. He's actually saying, it looks like most of the stuff in here is pretty much exactly how it's, exactly how he says it is. So I don't know,
man. 129 for 3 core books. We're not told how many pages. Game dice, game tokens, limited edition map, reversible Larry Elmore poster, 2 pre-made characters. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't an RPG supposed to be 5 to 6 players in a DM? 2
at least.
Two blank characters, not 2 blank character sheets. 2 blank characters. I'm reading from their site right now. 2 pencils, because golf pencils are hard to come by. Requirements are 3 to 10 players, ages 12 plus, 90 minutes playtime. This is a limit. Only 2,000 of this first edition set are available. Less than half remain. This is a first edition which will not be made again, and is exclusively available on our website, and is available only in print. This is a pre-order, by the way, and they won't start printing until December 1st, so it's no longer a pre-order, I guess. I have no clue. All right, I'm sorry. I don't know if I should do this live. I mean, really, how? If it takes PayPal, I'm in trouble. If it takes a credit card, I'd have to get up and get a credit card. So.
Do you really want this on your credit card, though?
No, I really don't.
It's like charging porn on your credit card. You don't want to be able to find out about it. Somebody might say, "Oh, you charge Giant Lands? Oh my God!"
I know. Well, what were you thinking? I wasn't thinking.
So apparently, and David Ford does say later on that when asked questions, all the answers were all given were, "This will be fixed on the next version. This is just the beta." Which we said, this is pretty much obvious. It's a beta. It's $130 beta. And so, yeah, we're going to fix all these mistakes on when we come up with the real one.
You can pay another $150 for the next version. So I like this. USPS retail ground is $12.60, but USPS priority mail is $12.80. What would you choose, Mike?
Choose not to buy it, but I mean,
all right. Wait, guess what?
That's not one of my choices, I guess.
No. So, Mike, here, it does take PayPal, so it wouldn't be on my credit card. It would be on my PayPal.
Thank
obviously.
God. Nobody cares about PayPal.
All right, so my total, I guess they're not charging tax. Okay, I'll take that for a benefit. $142.79. All right. So you know how I said, folks, that if you, I'm going to assume that you all will donate to the cause and watch the videos and click on links and shit like that, because I'm going to do it right now.
I think this will be a well-earned segment of show when we do this show.
All right. So Mike, it's now going to my PayPal shit. All right, hold on a second.
Oh, this is so good. Who's fuck. The point? Do you think anybody, when you buy it, you think they're going to recognize your name and say, "This is that Tenkar dick, the guy that hates us"?
Well, you know what? They would if they went to the guy who fucking doxed me and went, "Oh, your name is Stina." There was a candy store at your corner. I'm like, no, there wasn't, but you do have the name right, you dick. It wasn't hard to find out. So if they are smarter than your average Ken Whitman, they could figure this out. If the box comes unshrinked, I'll expect that it has like more COVID on it. But I'm immunized.
Oh dear, they had everybody with COVID. They're coughed into it.
Yeah, you got COVID. It's just going to Tenkar. Cough in the box. All right, I hit pay now. All right.
Let's Yay!
What? All right. So hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna to show folks that this shit was done. Hold on a second. Share screen. Chrome tab. Oh my God! Now, here we go. Ready? Did it show up? There we go.
Who thought we would end tonight with Eric buying Wonderfield Giantlands? Nobody suspected this ending. This is a shocking surprise ending.
I didn't expect this, and I will blame Mike fully for this shit.
Yes, you can blame Josh, and I will take the blame.
And listen, Memorial Tomb is going to print, Josh, just so you know.
Oh, yeah, because Josh has been out of the loop for quite a while. I think January this month, right? It's supposed to be going to print. Actually, looks like against all odds, Benoit has finally finished his all his appendices, and yes, it will actually go to print. Now, I don't know when we're actually going to get copies. Well, hopefully we'll get them. I mean, I'm kind of interested in seeing it now.
I expect that we're going to get it. I am not going to make any predictions as to the final, whether we'll live up to our expectations after 7 years. I don't know how it can. Matt Melman, just to clarify, you spent $130 because Bad Mike recounted a bad review. No, I spent $143 because I'm doing this for fucking science. Follow the science. People say follow the science. People don't follow the science. We are following the science.
We are following the fucking science. This is absolutely fucking science here.
This is science. This is what I do. So you
think about the joy we're gonna get when Eric reads this, comes on the show next week, and starts reading out of the book itself.
That quickly. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying in the future. Just think about that future show. Just about the future show where Eric has read it and become furious. And he gets on the show and says, "Oh my God, I got to read this to you." And he has the screenshots and everything. Just think how much entertainment we're going to get out of it.
All right. So here's the thing.
And then we're going to figure out if did Jim Ward write a bad game or was it just not edited? I mean, we're going to have to figure out what happened here. Was it just because Jim Ward is a experienced game designer?
He is a legend. Let's be honest. Jim's a legend. So this is what I'm going to probably have to do. All right. It's going to be like, all right, read a chapter of Giantlands. Then reach over to my left, grab my Arduin trilogy. No, the drinks come later.
Oh,
Grab my Arduin trilogy, read something from Dave to cleanse my palate, to bring me back to ground me into old school gaming, and then read another chapter of this pile of burning shit. Now, if I'm proven wrong, I might come through this and I might go, guys, you know what? This is a very playable game. This actually is the first fantasy post-apocalyptic game ever published, if you don't count Rifts and Gamma World and a bunch of others. But if you don't count those, it might actually be what was being billed. I don't know. So yes, I spent the money so you don't have to. I think they confirmed to people with paying $100 to play a heavy game in Ernie's basement. No, this is so you don't have to play a game in Ernie's basement. Okay? Because
yes.
I took
We're
the hit
saving
for
you.
We're sparing you.
We're taking the hit for.
Jim killed me in a sci-fi game at North Texas. He is legend, Josh.
He's
There you
killed
go.
everybody. He's killed everybody in a sci-fi game somewhere.
Oh, no, Bob says I have to roll up the character live.
Oh.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. Bob, here. Now, listen, I'm going to let you in on a secret here. If I'm going to roll up a character live, we have to have we have to have two things in play. One, I can't still be in this weird-ass brain fog that's going on. And two, I will need at least a full mag. That's equivalent of 2 smaller bottles. I'll need 1 large bottle of wine and a bunch of ice, or just a chilled bottle, ready to go, because sobriety will hinder my game enjoyment. I can guarantee you that. So, but yeah, that's a good idea. Rolling up live. We will make this an event. It'll blow up the internet. It'll blow up the YouTubes. We'll be doing wonderful.
It'll do something. I don't know if it's gonna blow up the internet, but it will do something.
Well, it'll blow up my ass. Whatever, you know. I've got COVID. Whatever else.
Yeah, we've just got it. We've got to invest. I mean, look, this is a preliminary investigation. It's like a detective, you know. He walks into, you know, a room and there's like, you know, there's a head on the wall over here, and there's like blood over here, and then there's like a dead dragon in the corner, and then there's like fur over here. I mean, he's just got to investigate further. He can't just say, "I'm through with this clusterfuck. I'm out. Walk out." He'd like to do that,
shit,
but he can't do it. He can't do it. He's got to investigate. He's got to say, "What happened here? What happened here?" He's got to investigate this.
I could have allowed Bob or Matt or Josh or David to pick this game up, right? And then they'd have to go, "Oh my God, it's so bad, and I really want to send a copy to you, but now I got to pay shipping again out of this crap. I can't do it." No, I took it upon myself, because this is what your money, your money from AdSense, when not to anybody but Zach actually does a super chat, but if you do a super chat, that's what that goes to support, is the, I don't know, pure stupidity that Mike and I are willing to do. In this case, the pure stupidity we're willing to do is Giant Lands. And I will still say something else about Giant Lands without even having the box in hand. It's going to be better than anything that comes out of TSR in 2022.
It's better. It's better than anything they've ever published right now. It's better than anything new TSR is published.
Cheesa, not pizza.
And it may be for the rest of the year. Jarek's right. It may be all through 2022. It may be. Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know, let's just confess it. Eric's just jealous, which is one of the reasons why he's just jealous of this stuff. That's what I hear. I hear online that you're just jealous, and that's why you're attacking this stuff.
I am jealous. I am jealous of Lanasa and his stand against the
totally
old school disclaimer, and the fact that he's raising money. I am jealous that he thought of that and I did not. No. I think that the whole idea that you're going to sue that disclaimer out of existence is fucking ludicrous. It is a joke. Listen, I can say I don't like the disclaimer. I think it's bullshit. I will also say I know I have no influence over it. I know I have no authority over it, and I never will. And it is Wizards of the Coast IP to do with as they see fit. And if they decide they want to take D&D and literally wipe their ass with it, it's their IP. They can do what they want. Doesn't change what I already own. I just think it's disrespectful to the IP, but that's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. And at the same time, by the way, Mike, what else am I accused of being? Please, please. I'm accused of being woke because I'm also anti-TSR. So, oh, Josh, God bless you for therapy after. Well, there you go, Mike. You see,
cha-ching. Oh, it's going to need much more than $5, but that's a start. Thank you, Josh. That's a great start. I mean, that'll get him a little alcohol to numb his brain. So that's going to be helpful.
Actually, I'll say that the yellowtail Merlot was actually cheap. This double mag, this double sized bottle was like, I don't know, $13, $14. I don't normally go that cheap, but sometimes
I will say
got real cheap.
The Michelob Ultra was pretty much exactly like water, so that helped a lot. That was awesome. When I need water, I'll just grab a Michelob Light. That'll work out. Plus, it'll be having a slimming effect on me. So that's always good.
Well, I mean, hey, Mike, I actually had comments from people that I look well.
You don't. You look.
What that means.
We don't. Neither of us literally look sick. I lost 15 pounds the last couple weeks. So it hasn't hurt me in that regard. I could stand to lose another 30 pounds or 50 pounds. So that's not going to. I mean, I wasn't upset to lose weight. So.
Well, I will say, and this is just kind of like an aside. Am I lethargic? Yes. Am I have a brain fog? Yes. Am I congested? Yes. Am I still getting in 5 days out of 7 or the last 6 out of the last 8 actually? 30-minute workouts, which includes general stretching, calisthenics, some small free weights. Yes. Because you know what? When I'm done with that, my brain fog clears for anywhere from 10 minutes to about an hour, and then it comes back. But it feels good, and it tells me that I might have COVID, but I'm not dying, you fuckers.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I heard my headphones give a little beep like it's running out of power. So
it might be. I don't know. Listen, we've been here for almost 2 hours.
Oh,
I didn't think we'd have that much in us. I thought that the COVID brothers. Oh my God, we could.
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good here. I'm doing okay, but I'm starting to do that. Let me see, 9:00 Central. I'm gonna do that little rundown feeling where, all right, I did as much as I could do.
Yeah, no, I think I have to watch Boba Fett tonight. I think episode 2 is out. I've heard it is not that great, but
I'm seeing mixed reviews definitely.
So that's what I'm hearing too. But you know what? It's still better than 90% of the shit that's on commercial TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes away, and that's only counting in live sports. Once you take out the live sports, it's better than 99%. And that's it. It's not saying much. Don't get me wrong. But there's just so much shit on TV.
Yeah, we're into Cobra Kai. We got Cobra Kai. We got
Kai season 2 or 4.
Pretty good. First episode was good. I'm excited.
All right, excited.
Expanse is running good. That's every Friday night.
Expanse is awesome. Wheel of Time wrapped up, which was.
Yeah, I haven't checked that one out yet. See you later, Ed. Thanks for that, Ed, our latest guest for North Texas. Thank you, Ed. Oh, it says my battery's running low. We better wrap it up. Eric. I'm about ready to.
We're gonna do the expedited wrap up, folks. Listen, as Mike and I have said, right? we've got the Omicron or the Decepticon version of COVID. So. Oh yeah, Witcher 2 is also doing very well. I'm forgetting something. So what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Listen, we're both vaccinated. Neither one of us is telling you have to go and run out and get vaxxed. We're not telling you not to get vaxxed. It's a personal decision that you have to make based upon your medical history, your medical situation, and talking with medical professionals that know you and know your history. Ignore the fucking talking heads on TV, on the YouTube. They don't know shit. They don't know you. Every situation is different. Okay? Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. And God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. If you're on Discord at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have our weekly hangout, and I will be there hanging out with peoples. And I don't know, a live stream with Glenn on Friday, and maybe we'll go back to doing a live stream with Rach on Saturday. It's been a while. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Appreciate you hanging out.
Later.
Later.